In gratitude, we offer this incense throughout space and time to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May it be fragrant as earth herself, reflecting careful efforts, wholehearted awareness, and the fruit of understanding. Slowly ripening, may we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true home. Please stand and join me in reciting the three refuges, page 7 of your chant book.
I go for refuge to Buddha, my deeply awakened mind, the living source of understanding and compassion, must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment, the way of peace, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the loving and supportive community of practice, realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I am aware that the three jewels are within my heart. I vow to realize them. I vow to understand living beings and their suffering. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and compassion, practice joy and equanimity. I vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions, and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust, to practice wholeheartedly, so that understanding and compassion in my heart, and I help other beings to be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts.
Page 8, please chant the Heart Sutra, beginning with the title.
Compassion from emptiness form. The same is true of feelings, thought, impulse, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are not born nor annihilated. They are not defiled nor immaculate. They cannot increase nor decrease. So in emptiness, no form, no feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of consciousness, nor ignorance, nor extinction of ignorance, nor old age and death, nor extinction of them, no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cease from suffering, no end to lead out of suffering, no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there is nothing to attain. Holds on to nothing but Prajna, Paramita. Therefore, the mind is clear of any delusive hindrance. Without hindrance, there is no fear. Away from all perverted views, one reaches final nirvana. All goods of past, present, and future, through faith in Prajna, Paramita, attain to the highest perfect enlightenment. Know then the Prajna, Paramita, is the great Dharma, the radiant fearless mantra, the utmost supreme mantra, which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. And now, the highest wisdom, the Prajna, Paramita, Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasangate, Bodhisattva. Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasangate, Bodhisattva. Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasangate, Bodhisattva. Dhamma, Prajna, Paramita, Vinaya, Sutra.
Good morning. Is this loud enough? Can you hear me in the back? Okay. My name is Kunga Nyima. I'm one of the Dharma teachers here at the temple. It's great to see you all here this morning, a full house. The title of my talk today, The 7 Factors of Awakening. The theme of this month's Dharma's teachings is the maturing of practice. I want to start off by mentioning the paradox of seeking enlightenment in a Buddhist practice in which there is nothing to attain. Next, I thought it would be interesting to discuss the 7 factors of awakening, which the Buddha identified as markers for a maturing practice. I will use the simile of training to run a marathon to better communicate how we can all use the 7 factors in our daily life. I will end this presentation with the ideas about how we can all continue developing the 7 factors of awakening in our daily practice. The Zen teacher, Shunryu Suzuki, is famous for coining the term beginner's mind in his book of the same name. Part of the idea behind this term is that we already possess everything we need for enlightenment. It's more of a process of clearing away the fog that's clouding our experience of reality than of acquiring something from outside of ourselves. As we state in our refuge vows, I go for refuge to Buddha, my deeply awakened mind. So the question is, if we already possess Buddha nature, what are we doing this practice for? I think the answer is that the practice enables us to develop abilities that we already possess, for slowly clearing away the delusion that clouds our perception. The 7 factors of awakening are the tools identified by the Buddha for this cleaning process. 7 factors of awakening are mindfulness, investigation, energy, joy, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. 4 of these, mindfulness, investigation, energy, and concentration, can be thought as the active factors we engage in consciously on the path. The other 3, joy, tranquility, and equanimity, can be understood more as a benefit that we experience more passively because of our efforts. You could also categorize mindfulness, investigation, energy, and concentration as the stick, which prompts us in our practice, and in turn, joy, tranquility, and equanimity are the carrots, the rewards for practicing. We're not supposed to believe that these 7 factors appear magically as part of an enlightenment experience. Rather, they are talents that we develop and experience as part of the path. All the factors of the awakening are interdependent. Thanisarro Bhikku has the most developed essays on the factors, and I've read, and there's an electronic link on the handout. So that handout you have there today, right on the bottom there, he wrote 10 Dharma talks about the factors of awakening. So I'm really making this brief. So I want to first introduce the 7 factors of awakening using the simile of training to run a marathon. Training yourself to run 26 miles is a significant physical endeavor that relies on and utilizes many of the same mental skills as spiritual practice. I've completed 2 marathons in my life, and it took about 6 months worth of training for each one in order to build up the endurance and muscle needed for the effort. To train for a marathon, you have to start small. My first week, I went for 3 runs, 3 miles each, and then on the weekend, a 5-mile run. But at the most intense level of training, I was running 10 miles 3 times a week and a 20-mile run on the weekend. So you gradually build yourself up. Same as our spiritual practice, right? I couldn't have completed my training without the first factor of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the ability to keep your objectives in mind. Mindfulness is being aware of what we are doing in the present moment and choosing to act in ways in line with our goals. My goal in this simile is completing a marathon. So I need to be mindful throughout my day and making choices to help achieve this goal. I had to pay attention to what I was eating, make sure I got enough calories. I had to schedule my day so I had time to make all these training runs. I had to be mindful during my runs. If you zone out when you're running, you step a hole, twist an ankle, then your training is done. The next factor is investigation. This was an important part of preparation for my race. I had to learn how to train my body to run 26 miles. I had to look at maps and plan training routes. I had to make meal plans to ensure I got the calories I need so I had the energy needed for training. Okay? Energy, the third factor. But I'm not just talking about the physical energy needed for the run, but also the mental energy or the discipline needed for the task. Deciding to run a marathon requires a level of commitment to the goal. You can't just decide at the last minute to do it. You have to commit yourself to a long process of training and daily practice, just like in our practice, right? Our spiritual practice. The fourth factor is joy. Anyone here who's an avid exerciser knows that you really start to enjoy your physical effort no matter what it is. The runner's high is pretty well understood. An experience of euphoria that is generated when the body releases positive hormones after prolonged exertion. When I'm exercising, it's often a struggle in the beginning. But about 2/3 of the way through, I start to feel really good and like I could do this just forever. Joy is followed by tranquility, a feeling of mental calmness. Running long distances for my marathon training, I would really feel relaxed, despite the physical effort my body was putting in. I remember concentration being really important nearing the finish of both of my marathons. At mile 23, the feeling of tranquility has started to be replaced by feelings of just pain and suffering. I had blisters on my feet, my legs were sore, my muscles were sore, cramping up. I really had to focus on my goal of completion, keep my legs moving. And this is where equanimity comes in. I knew why I felt like I did, and I also knew that these feelings were only temporary. My suffering was caused by the amount of hardship I put my body through. Understanding causes and conditions, along with impermanence of suffering, helped me to feel equanimity, despite the adversity, and continue to the completion of the race. I think my time was like around 4 hours, so nothing, to brag about really. I think the real marathoners, are doing it under 2 hours, so pretty amazing. So now I want to switch gears. I want to talk about the 7 factors of awakening in relationship to our spiritual practice. Some teachers describe mindfulness as the ground of which all the other factors awakening grow. In secular usage, mindfulness is often characterized as just being aware and letting go of feelings of judgment. Thanisarro Bhikku stresses, however, that mindfulness is not just awareness of everything and letting go. That is equanimity. Mindfulness has a discernment quality, which we are aware of body, feeling, and mind with a sense of skillfulness and a desire to use our mindfulness to identify what is skillful and what is not, to turn away from the unskillful and turn towards and cultivate what is skillful. The second factor, investigation, is actually investigation of Dharma, or investigators of the Buddha's teachings or of the world, and applies to discernment about how we create our perceptions of the world through our body, our feelings, and our mind. In this process, we are investigating how our body is reacting to the world. And we can do this simply just by analyzing our breath. Is it rapid? Is it slow? Is it deep? Is it shallow? Then we can examine our perceptions or our self-talk about the experience. I am breathing slowly. I feel relaxed. I am breathing rapidly. I feel panicky. The third discernment is about our perceptions. Oh, this deep breathing is so relaxing and pleasant. I could just take a nap right now. Or this rapid breathing is scaring me. It's unpleasant. I think I'm having a heart attack. Somebody, get me to the emergency room. Kind of our thoughts, running away. So in the factor of awakening, the process is not neutral. We are using discernment to identify activities that are skillful in body, words, and mind, and to cultivate those that assist us in our practice to alleviate suffering for ourselves and for others. The third factor of awakening is energy, also called exertion or persistence, and relates to the effort needed to develop the skillful qualities and avoid the unskillful ones. The idea is that you have to direct your efforts in the right direction. Otherwise, it's wasted. In meditation, for example, you have to remember to follow the object of your meditation and not just sit there spacing out. No matter how much meditation you put in or how long you sit for, if you have the wrong effort, you won't achieve anything. So the Buddha provides some wonderful similes to help us better understand how joy and tranquility and concentration and equanimity can arise in our body. The Buddha said, just as a spring within a mountain, whose clear water flows out and down all sides of that mountain, bubbles up in places where the water had not previously appeared, saturating the entire mountain, so the practitioner experiences a feeling of joy arise during their concentration, saturate every part of their body. The fourth factor of awakening is joy, or rapture. I referred to this experience in an earlier Dharma talk about the 4 grounds of mindfulness. This is your ability to use mindful attention during your meditation to transform the neutral feelings into pleasant ones. The Buddhist teacher Chogyam Trungpa stated that any perception can connect us to reality properly and fully. What we see doesn't have to be pretty particularly. We can appreciate anything that exists. There is some principle of magic in everything, some living quality, taking part in everything. Everything contains the seed of magic, and when we apply our mindfulness and nourish our appreciation of the present moment, we can discover the magic that leads to feelings of joy or even rapture at any time. The Buddha said, just as the different species of blue, red, pink, and white lotus grow up from the bottom of a pond of clear water and appear on the surface of that pond, have the roots, tap roots, subsidiary roots, and stem, and flower, all saturated with the water. So the practitioner experiences the feeling of tranquility that arises after the feeling of joy, penetrate every part of their body. The fifth factor of awakening is tranquility, also called ease or calmness. This factor is important because unless the mind is calm, it will be unable to develop the next factor of concentration. Calmness is a skill we use as we learn to meditate and get familiar with our minds. When we are learning to follow our breath and then recognize thoughts as they come up and let them go and return to our breathing, we are developing a feeling of learning to grow tranquility. We take this skill into our life as we learn to recognize the signs in our body when we are being overcome by stress. We learn to identify our feelings and attachments that are causing them. As we become more familiar with how our mind and body work together, we realize how to use awareness to breathe calmness to our mind when we are feeling agitated. The Buddha said, just as a bath attendant, after mixing powdered soap into a basin, mixes it with water until the soap paste has water in every part of it, so the practitioner feels the bliss which is born when the desires of the sense realm are released. The sixth factor of awakening is concentration. This is the actual experience of sitting in meditation, trying to develop our focus so that we can follow our breath as it goes in and goes out. In Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind by Shunryu Suzuki, he states that our sense of a self is just a swinging door. It swings in with the inhalation and swings out with the exhalation. Even the idea of a self is extra. We at our core are just this exchange of breathing, of breath with our environment, with our world. Developing our concentration practice enables us to have a better understanding of our mind. When we are focused on our breathing, we are learning firsthand what thoughts come up in our mind and what strategies help us to work with them. What does our body feel like when it's uncomfortable, bored, frustrated, inspired, joyful? All our perceptions, feelings, and mental formations are directly and personally accessible to us during our concentration in a deeper and more personal way than when we are just thinking about them. The Buddha said, just as someone who puts on a very long robe, which reaches from his head to his feet, and there is no part of his body which is not covered by this robe, so the practitioner, with a clear, calm mind, envelops their whole body in understanding and leaves no part of the body untouched. Thich Nhat Hanh states that equanimity does not mean to disdain or run away from life. Equanimity means to let go of craving and clinging so you no longer suffer from the endless cycle of birth and death, which all Dharma are subject. So the last factor is equanimity. It can be thought of this as having three levels. The first is the ability just to endure the unpleasant. In this first level, we learn to be able to view and experience the unpleasant in life without running away from it. We also learn to discern if this unpleasantness can be changed by us or not. If it cannot be changed, the equanimity allows us to accept it and move on. But if it can be changed, then we need to take action to relieve the suffering in the situation. The second level of equanimity is to develop our own mind, the ability to accept with equanimity all of our own unwanted desires, thoughts, and needs. This equanimity helps us to explore the depths of our mind and accept all that is there, and realize we already possess all that we need to be happy. The third level of equanimity is one that spontaneously develops from the other practices. In this third level, we learn that we can let go of all the attachments that are causing us unneeded suffering. So just to review, the 7 factors of awakening are mindfulness, investigation, energy, joy, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. 4 of these, mindfulness, investigation, energy, and concentration, can be thought of as the active factors that we engage in consciously on the path. So even though there are 7, we just have to worry about these 4. Right? Good news, right? The Buddha recommends that we start with our meditation practice. We find a quiet place free of distraction. Sit in a comfortable position. With our shoulders back and our spine straight. We bring mindfulness to our attention of our breath. We concentrate on our breath as we follow it in into our stomach, then back out through our nostrils. We apply energy to repeating this process over and over. And we investigate the experience. If we become distracted, we use our mindfulness to return to the breath. And we develop our concentration in this way. This process will enable us to understand the impermanence of life through the exhalation of each breath. We will also begin to have a better understanding of causes and conditions as we witness how thoughts develop into stories during our meditation. As we develop our meditation practice, we will begin to experience how joy is available to us just in the simple act of breathing in and breathing out. This joy leads to tranquility as we feel less pressure to find our happiness in external things and experiences. Development of our meditation practice will also lead us to experience equanimity with our own thoughts as we begin to realize the impermanence of our thoughts and how they develop because of causes and conditions. This equanimity then becomes available to us in life as we apply our understanding of causes and conditions, impermanence and interdependence to our actual daily experience. So it is in the simple practice of just sitting and observing our breath that we are developing the 7 factors awakening. This is the practice of remembering that what we think of as ourselves is just a swinging door, which swings in with each inhalation and out with each exhalation. Each breath is like a soft wind, blowing away the dust of delusion that has settled over our own Buddha nature. Thank you. Prepare yourselves for meditation. We have announcements. You want to?
Right here? All right. Hi, just doing a quick message about Donna. Just as a reminder, the Grand Rapids Buddhist Temple is completely nonprofit. Nobody here gets a penny out of profit here. No one here is paid a salary or paycheck of any kind. Everything here is completely driven by the support of the community and volunteer time. And so if you're really benefiting from this or find the experience that you get here every single week or at any of the other programs beneficial, please consider making a donation. There are boxes on this side of the hall and that side of the hall where you can leave cash or a check. And on our website, you can also go donate via PayPal. And then finally, there's the Amazon Smile program. If you go set that up, they'll donate, I looked it up actually, about 0.5% of your purchase at no cost to you to the temple. So thank you all very much for being here and continuing to support the temple.
I don't think I have the.
Somebody's requested a quick prayer for the sick.
Sorry.
Somebody's requested a quick prayer for the sick.
Okay. So one of our Sangha members has asked us to say a prayer to a sick person. So can I have? Do we know their name?
Maybe.
Evie?
Amy.
Jamie?
Amy.
Amy. Okay. So this is loving kindness. May Amy be peaceful, happy, and light in mind and body. May Amy be safe and free from injury. May Amy be free from anger, affliction, fear, and anxiety. I don't have the list of the events going on for next month, but on a regular basis, what we have here are recovery meetings. We're offering a book club that met on Thursday mornings. And all the details on these groups is on our website. We also have Lojong ceremony at the first full moon of the month.
Preceptors and intro meditation.
Oh, yes, we have two upcoming classes. The preceptor class, which you can sign up for, which basically taking the 5 precepts and deepening your Buddhist practice through that. And also Introduction to Meditation, which is on September 15th, 17th? Okay, that's a Saturday, I think. So both those, you can sign up for both those classes online. So if you're interested in deepening your practice in that way, please join us. If we could all stand now for the closing gathas. This is on page 9 in your sample. For all unskillful actions ever committed by me since of old, on account of finding meaningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born with my body, mouth, and thoughts, now I atone for them all. Vast is the robe of compassion, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Buddhist teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. All beings, one body, I vow to liberate. Endless fine passion, I vow to uproot. Dharma gates without number, I vow to penetrate. The great way of Buddha, I vow to attain. If I could have this side face this way and this way, we could talk to each other. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.